are such a huge language, and there's a reason why it's the most popular language out there, right? We will teach you the basics. That's obviously, you need to know your basics, fundamentals. That's what you learn with us. In terms of mastering or knowing it fully, you don't need to, because again, there's no way you could touch on every single part, nor should you learn everything or things that you really don't need in your career, right? From an automation point of view. And it's an important question people get asked even in an interview. If they ask you how much Java, some people get excited and say they know 10 out of 10. That's not the case, right? We barely scrape the surface of Java, but again, the basic fundamentals are what we teach you. And beyond that, it's something that you could always pick up on, right? From an automation point of view, whatever you need to know, we will teach you that. If you want to obviously become a backend developer or something, you could, gradually grow beyond that. And that's something we could always talk about, because we offer some other course to do that as well. But in terms of just knowing Java as much as you need is what we teach you, right? Obviously, ensuring that you have the core fundamentals in Java.
Yeah. Also, I would like to introduce like one of our like new students, Ashraf, with us. I would like to ask like if Ashraf has any sort of questions regarding this before we just jump into our demo.
Hey, what's up, guys? No, I don't really have any questions. I'm just interested to see how it goes. I haven't started my first class yet, so I mean, I'm interested to see. I've been looking up stuff about QA demonstrations and stuff, and what the day-to-day job is. So, and yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ashraf. And again, looking forward to having you part of our course. We'll walk through and everything, so you don't have to worry about a bit. Are there any questions that we are getting from Facebook, or are you keeping track of that, right? If we do have, if not, we'll Junaid.
Yeah, I'm keeping track of that. We will just go over the questions after the demo. So let's start.
Okay, so let's quickly jump into that then really quick. Again, don't be scared on what all these are. Let me close all this because we were going live a little earlier. Here you go. So let's start. So again, let me just bring up because there are quite a lot we have to cover. So, and then we'll do, here you go. Okay, so this is, a little demo that I prepared, and I'll firstly run this to show you, what it really does. Then, we'll go over uh, uh, what is it actually doing, or how did I go about running it, right? So quickly, I'm just showing you how to run it. So you right click and you run it. And you will see again, I'll go over this, what it's doing, but just watch the screen as to what it's doing, right? So there's a site that I've built, right? And basically just goes through that. Again, these are things that computer is doing by itself, right? So basically what you just went through in a Zoom, because Selenium does it like very quick, right? I basically went to a website called Mo Media, Netlify .app. So I'm gonna open this um, in a browser, and I'll show you what it exactly did, right? And one thing I talked about automation, for people who doesn't know it, it's basically automating what a manual tester or manual engineers would do, right? So again, we talked about what is the difference between a QA engineer versus QA automation engineer. What I'm doing right now is basically something a QA engineer would do, right? So let's say we had a functionality or a requirement to test this website where you were told to search up a movie, right? And this is what I did, right? I searched up a movie called Spider-Man, and I clicked on the first one, and I checked the details, and I'll show you, what it is, right? And then, I checked the name, I saw the rating, and then I went down and I basically checked this first actor, the lead actor's information by clicking on this and basically getting this information, right? That was one scenario. Another scenario was to go on this contact form and basically just fill in this information, right? As you will see, and I'll put some breaker points and some time to see that, indeed it happens, right? So we just filled up all this information, and this is where the test actually ended, right? this was the whole demo. Now that I just went over it, I'll probably put some time just to show you, what it actually does. So, and then we'll go over how it, how it actually works, right? So this is just a hard-coded timer we just put in to ensure that you could actually see it. So I put a timer here, and let's say I put a timer in here. Okay. And again, don't worry about what this is. It's just more of going over what we will be automating, right? So I'm rerunning it again. Now that you guys know the requirements, you will understand a little better. So it goes to the website, it types in Spider-Man, right? And it clicks on it. And it basically, you see it does it all, right? Quite fast, right? It gets this information, it waits, and it fills up all this information. I paused here, right? Then it will just quit. And that's literally what it did. And I'll show you what is the expected result that we got, right? And as you saw that it went to a movie page called Spider-Man, which printed out, and how we did that, we'll obviously go over it. It got the rating of the movie, which is 7.2 from an IMDb rating. And then this were the lead information from that modal that popped out, right? So this is Toby's information, when he was born, birthplace, and a little bit about him, right? Again, all the steps that I went over from a manual testing point of view were all done just with automation, right? And the benefit of this is if your company tells you to test this again, you don't have to do this manually, right? I just give you an example of, small test scenario, right? Imagine there is a test scenario that you have to test every single day, right? Instead of doing this manually one by one, you actually write automation scripts like this that does it for you, and you could trigger it whenever you want, right? And we'll obviously talk about how do you trigger it automatically. There's something called Jenkins, right? Which is a CI/CD tool, right? Continuous integration and continuous development tool that you could pass in some commands and it could just run it automatically and gives you, uh, just the report, right? And obviously, when you enroll in our course, we'll talk about how all of that works. So that was just the demo of how it runs, but now we'll actually go in depth in terms of what all these are, right? Before that, do you guys have any questions, Junaid, Ashraf, or anyone, or should I continue?
Just a quick question for one of the student.
Yeah.
He asked, does this also can be run as a manual test, and which one is more efficient, manual or the automation?
Very important question. So, and again, this is one of those interview questions people ask you as well. When you are seeking automation engineering role, they will ask you, do you do manual testing? You have to, the right answer to it is yes, you do 30% manual, 70% automation. So when you're, and you will see it, in a bit, that for you to automate this, you have to actually do this steps manually and write the code, right? The goal is to, again, for automation is to do the steps manually by instructing the computer to do so, right? So by doing that, you're actually doing some manual work. What is more efficient? What is more beneficial? And I'll tell you that. And I'll ask you actually before I answer, right? So imagine this was the task that you have to do every single day. Let's say you have to search for 10 different movies every single day, right? And you have to make sure the rating is there. You have to make sure all the lead actors informations are there. What would be more efficient? Just to trigger it every now and then, or for you to do it manually every single time? And the answer would be to trigger it automatically, right? If I wanted, I could have triggered this test 100 times if I wanted, right? And I would have finished it with more efficiency right away, rather than doing it manually one by one, right? And that's one of the reasons why automation engineers gets paid quite a lot, right? That's reasons why we say that you will get a 100K job, right? Because you're doing things that, let's say, 4 or 5 manual testers would do. You're basically doing all of that in just one script, right? And again, this is just a small scenario. And even that manually takes me quite a while, right? If I had to do this manually, just look at the time that it takes me, to search for this, right? Spider-Man. If I were to set a timer, right? I search here, I make sure this IMDb is here. Then I scroll down, then I click on this, I see this details, right? imagine I had to do this like 10 different times for 10 different movies, right? That would be inefficient. And that's one of the reasons why QA manual testing jobs are not there anymore, right? If I have to put a percentage, I would say from a QA testing point of view, not even 5% testers are manual testers, right? Everyone is expected to know automation. And that's one of the reasons why we teach automation. And frankly, it's any sort of IT industry that you're going through. Most of the time, you need to know some sort of basic knowledge, right? I was asked the other day, do you need to know coding for, to get into an IT industry? That's where the future is leading to. And you will see near future, coding is going to become mandatory skills that you need, even from a education point of view. So yeah, that does that answer the student's question, Janai?
Yeah. Also, there's another question. Like during this COVID, how people are just like doing their jobs? Is it gonna be from online, or are they gonna switch it to like in person's office? Like, is this job like increasing or it's decreasing during this COVID?
Again, thanks a lot for that question, and it's a very important question. Uh, I'll tell you about me, right? I've literally been working from home for about a year or so because due to COVID, right? Um, and one thing you will notice about IT industry is you could be doing this job from anywhere. That's one of the reasons why we said get into the field. Don't worry about the job. We'll get you a job, right? The demand is going higher than ever because again there are more projects, right? And near future, what I think company will make it some sort of adjustment where you will work in office few days and you will work in home, part-time office, part-time house, right? One being that obviously cuts down their costs. Imagine powering up a building and running all this snacks and all the stuff that they have to spend. They're saving all that money from a company's point of view, right? So they will obviously try to continue to do so. uh, I rarely heard people getting laid off from an IT industry. And if that happens, obviously there are so many other opportunities that opens up, and it's cause of that, right? The IT industry demand never seems to go down, right? It's just going up higher and higher. Now people are actually saving a lot of time from a traveling point of view, so they become even more productive. Uh, Obviously, when things gets better from a COVID point of view, your company, depending on what company you work for, there are some remote jobs that you could choose if you like to work from home. But some people actually like to go to office, work with people. It really depends on the type of company you work for and the projects you're landing. But when COVID gets better, I'm definitely thinking, or assuming that there will be companies that you could actually work in person, but they might not make it full time. Or there could be companies that actually believes in group and working, hands on all together. There are jobs out there like that too that you could land on. Any other questions?
Yeah. Do people need like a degree, to be an automation engineer? Or
Right. Very important question. You don't. Degree helps you to a certain extent. Obviously, I think when people talk about degrees, or if I had to do this all over again, I honestly would would get degree depending on my goal, right? If my goal is to become someone higher up, like a management role or something like that, and their degree helps to a certain extent. But we have taught many students, and I know many people who doesn't have a degree and they landed a job, right? Your degree helps you to a certain extent when you try to go in an upper management role, right? At least that's what I face as well. What helps you is knowing the skills, uh, and degree helps you to a certain extent to get to the interview. It doesn't mean if you don't have a degree you're not going to get an interview. You for sure will. And most of the jobs you don't really require any sort of degrees to begin with, right? It's what do you know that helps you get the job, rather than what a piece of paper or a degree you have. What does help, and I'll tell you that, right? In an IT industry, more importantly, from a degree, instead of a degree point of view, certifications helps, right? So if you have some sort of certification, for example, I'll tell you, and I did tell you that I will tell you guys last time, what sort of certifications I have, or I do have quite a lot, right? I am a certified Scrum developer, and we'll talk about what Scrum is. I'm a certified Scrum master. I'm a certified Scrum product manager, right? And I'm also chasing for architect certifications at this point. And obviously these are things that we could talk about, but these are the things that's going to help you in a long run rather than a degree, right? But that's a very important question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah. Also, since you mentioned Scrum, can you just go over like what a daily job looks like for a QA? So if someone started working as a QA, so how I mean, what their daily job looks like?
Absolutely, and I think that's a very important question. I'll give you a virtual demo of what a real life day-to-day automation engineer would do, right? So again, from a Scrum point of view, not to go into much in detail, there is a methodology called Agile that we focus on, and again, we'll talk about this. This is part of our curriculum for those of you who got to see it. So Agile has different types of meetings, right? One of the meeting that we do every day, right, is called daily stand-up meeting, right? So you will start your day with that. Obviously, after you go to the office, or you wake up and you check your emails and all of that. So that's usually the first meeting that you go over. And in this meeting, they ask you 3 questions. What did you do yesterday? And again, everyone goes over in a room, right? Let's say in this meeting, it's going to be something like this, where I will say, hey, I automated movie details yesterday. I will automate contact page today. And the last question is, did you have any difficulty, right? Did you face any issues? So the 3 questions are, again, what did you do yesterday? What you will do today? And did you face any issues that someone could help you with, or whatever the case may be, right? Do you have any blockers? Blockers are basically anything that blocks you from doing what you're expected to do. So you answer these questions, and then you basically have certain stories or requirements. And as I talked about, you are given that in a sprint. And again, not to talk too much about it, because I don't want to throw all those jargons at you guys. You basically, in a sprint, they tell you these are the types of requirements you're expected to do. So you'll basically start automating that in a day-to-day job, right? And then so you have your meetings, then you start automating. If there's any sort of defect you find, you could assign it to a developer could fix it, and you could retest it, close those defects out, and continuously write automation scripts, right? That's from a day-to-day job point of view. Obviously, there are other meetings that you don't get every single day. There are meetings that you have something called sprint retrospective, sprint review, right? Sprint retrospective usually happens after the sprint, where you talk about what could have been better, right? And what could we do to improve it? And sprint review is just going over how the sprint went, just to go over just metrics itself, right? These are few of the meetings that are out there. But your day-to-day job is that you will have that stand-up meeting. Obviously you will interact with people. You will automate. If there is any sort of defects that needs to be tested or that you found, you will create that. You will assign it to a developer. Ensure that developer is working on it, and set a due date of when he should assign it back to you. And if the cycle goes, each sprint, you get new requirements, and this the cycle goes, right? And once you get familiar with this, you will exactly know what I'm talking about. And that's something we'll obviously teach you from this course as well. When you do live projects with us, you will actually go through this process so many times that it's going to become a second nature to you, right?
How long does it take for this course to complete? Because a lot of other institutions, they say like, oh, you can finish it like in 4 months. Is it true you can finish it in 4 months? Because a different institution, they say 4 months, some say 6 months, some says 8 months. So
Yeah.
what actually like the time structure looks like for this QA?
Yeah, and I'll be completely honest and as honest as I could be, right? The course, it really depends on how many days the classes are, but from grasping the information when you don't know anything at all, I would say it takes about 6 to 8 months. In terms of our curriculum itself, we are expected to finish at about 4.5 to 5. But again, this is just knowing the material itself, right? And then you actually have projects that you do with us, and that takes about a month or so. Not month or so, sorry. The final project, it takes about a week or so. And then you have about a month that we prep you from a job interview prep point of view, right? The types of, and then this phase is where you will tackle virtual interviews, mock interviews, what should you say, what should you not say. You will continuously work on real life projects as long as you're with us until you get a project, to be familiar with it. And all these jargons that I throw at you guys are every single term you'll be familiar with, right? But in terms of a cap, I always say 6 month to 8 month, because obviously all the students learns differently. Some students learns the material very well, that they are able to pass our mock interviews, and through that we consider that he or she is ready for the job market, where someone else might take a little more time, but usually roughly 6 to 8 months is the cap that we tend to see.
What are the tools they need to learn for this QA?
Yeah, for the tools, I could go over our website. It's something I could show you. So again, for those of you who didn't get to see our website, just visit mztech.us, go under training and go to QA Quality Assurance Engineer. And then basically gives you just a brief introduction of what it is. If you swipe down, it will talk about briefly, what we will go over. So you can see the curriculum here. But the tools that we will use, again, a little earlier, Chandika was saying as well, Java is obviously one of the most fundamental. So we'll work on Java. Selenium WebDriver is basically what we will go over a little later in terms of what it is really. But we'll use something called Selenium WebDriver. Basically, that helps you automate browsers, right? A little earlier that you saw my demo, that the computer is doing everything, is basically based on Selenium scripts, right? And we'll talk about that, what it is, and how do you do so, when we actually dig into the code. Other technologies we'll use SQL. Again, this is where you actually do backend testing, right? Some people might say, oh, you're only doing GUID testing. I've got that out a lot, right? and some people might say, oh, there's a full stack QA engineering, whatever the case may be, right? We do all of that here, right? We actually show you how to automate not only the front end. When I say front end, again, I talked about it last live, but it's basically you're automating what you're seeing, right? Using SQL and structural query language, that's what it stands for, will actually validate the data that are coming in, right? So you will do API testing, and we'll talk about that, how do you do so in our training. And there's something called Gherkin that you will use. Again, why that is, we'll talk about it. There's Maven that we use as a build tool, and TestNG as a unit testing tool, right? These are all the more or less the most important ones. Obviously, there are a few out there that we'll talk about as we actually go through the training, but these are the main courses, main tools that we use.
Yeah, that's really good. So basically, the tuition that MZ Tech offers, like, is it something that students can pay like after they get a job? How does that tuition structure works?
So in terms of tuition plan, and again, there are various tuition plans we have. These are the three that we have, where some students decide to pay everything up front. And obviously 10K might seem quite a lot, and it is a lot of money, but we offer that as well. We just get it out of the way. There is another one where you actually pay about $1,600 for the 6 month that we talk about, right? And after that, you don't pay us anything, and you get the job, you get that out of the way. But the most popular one that people or the students usually goes for is this one, and this is what I usually suggest people, right? Or anyone who's trying to join us, is because if you were to look at this breakdown, you basically pay 30% of the entire tuition while you are doing the training itself. And again, that's what makes us different, because I know, and you obviously done your research, you would see that other institutes actually, I don't know if they don't believe in their system, but they actually get majority of your tuition upfront before you even get a job, right? And the reason we don't do that is because, one, we've been doing this for a while. Two is to make it affordable for everyone. Third is because we believe in our system and in our process, right? That's why you see that 70%, that's a big amount, right? 70% of our tuition actually gets collected after you get a job, right? And obviously, depending on students, we offer special tuition plans if money is an issue, right? Money is never the reason why someone can't join. We are trying to grow our community as much as we can, right? We're trying to help our fellow, just people in general. Right? We are fortunate, Jonathan and I are fortunate are fortunate to get into this IT industry, and we're trying to, have other people get into this as well, right? So don't worry about the tuition, and it's something that we could always talk about if there's any special treatment that you might need in terms of tuition itself. But this is the core tuition plans that we have.
That's pretty good. That's what I always tell the newcomers or the students that who actually waiting and to join this IT industry. They say, well, either like QA or full stack, it takes a lot of money, the boot camps and stuff. So let me just go for like a 4-year college. Let me just get a degree and stuff like that. So so yeah, I mean, getting a degree is obviously, I mean, it's a plus point, but being in school, you're not going to get those hands-on training that you just get it like from any institution, like your boot camps and stuff like that. So that's what the MZ Tech is always trying to help these students, not to just like feel uncomfortable with the tuition and stuff, that, oh, it's a lot of money, but it's just like getting a secure job, feeling comfortable that, oh, well, I can pay after I secure a job. Yeah, a lot of people might think like, oh, how can I even just get like $100,000 job after like 6 to 8 months training? It is possible, guys. It is possible. As just like explaining all these structural things and about tuition, and all the tools that students require to learn and stuff like that. I would say like coding or being in IT industry, anyone or anybody can do it. It's just like all you guys need is just a little bit of focus. These are the things that you guys practice daily basis, like an hour, 2 hours. 6 to 8 months is enough. Tuition is not a matter, not an issue. There's a lot of talents out there. They might get scared. Oh, it takes a lot of money. But when you just make $100,000, guys, like try to compare that. I'm making $100,000 after 6 to 8 months, and that's not a joke. Paying like 10 grand, like after I get a job, like that's not, I mean, you don't pay 10 grand, but it's just like, I think 70% of the tuition that you pay like after you get a job, and that's when you secure a job. So why you don't just take this opportunity, and especially during this COVID, a lot of work, I mean, a lot of jobs, you guys gonna just like do it from home. So that's a huge thing where like other jobs, you can't even think about it. And yes, they're gonna hire a lot, like starting from February, like this coming next year, they're gonna hire a lot. Do your research and see like, this is the time, guys. This is the time you gotta just start learning and just land this job. I mean, in this IT industry as a QA, that's the perfect timing, because if you don't do it, someone else is gonna take your position. So it's your decision. It's your choice. Think about it. The tools, the materials, all the things that you were just like getting from MZ Tech, what we are bringing to you guys, it's just like, I mean, it's gonna help you to land a job, and you don't even have to worry about it. MZ Tech doing one-on-one mentorship, as one of the students, Chandika, mentioned, like MZ Tech basically focus on student like learning. So that's why we just break down like every session, like every cohort, we break it down in like 3, 4, 10 students every cohort. So basically, the less students, we can focus more. We can just give more time to the students. Any problem, any issue, we just like always try to help. I'm on Slack most of the time. Minaz is also like on Slack most of the time. Any students have any sort of questions, we just like hop in Zoom call. We try to just like explain. There's like materials and resources that we just give to the students. That's how you just learn. That's how you just do things. And the best way to learn is just hands-on training, practice things that we show. And how MZ Tech is different than any other institution, I would say, we actually bring the work environment in your classroom. So when you are just learning something, you're basically working in a work environment, collaboration, teamwork, helping each other. That's how you actually just learn, practicing all the tools and materials. Obviously, you guys gotta just study at home. You guys gotta practice that at home besides whatever you're learning while you're on Zoom call with the instructors. But that's what makes MZ Tech different, because you don't feel uncomfortable when you just get in a job, because you're already doing the same thing while you are learning with MZ Tech. So that's like what makes MZ Tech different. So that's what you guys need to know.
Yeah, and just to, this is something I obviously demoed last week as well. we could just take a look at, why you should just focus on QA as well, right? So if I were to go to, monster.com, right? This is again one of those websites where you could search for stuff. And let's say I were to search for QA engineering, and let's just search for it and see, how much, and because some people might say, oh, are there jobs out there? Just look at it on a first search, how much jobs are out there, right? Again, it's 456,351 jobs. So, and if you were to look at the trend from beforehand, you'll really see why this job is so demanding. And this is just one of those sites that we obviously showcase, but there are many other sites that we have. And not only this, we have a lot of internal job requirements that we get from whether in our companies or from our students that worked with us before, or just a bunch of requirements that we get in a day-to-day job, right? You just need one of those jobs. And just to show you that it is a very hot job that's out there that pays you quite a lot, right?
Exactly.
So, and again, obviously last time I showed you an automation of how we did that as well. But this is just, a live proof of how many jobs are out there to begin with, right? And this is throughout. There are so many jobs that are just remote. If you want to work in remote jobs, right? There are jobs you could actually work in companies, excluding COVID, obviously. And now majority of the jobs are remote. But if things gets better, if the company requires you to come through in person, you could do so as well. So the job market is not going down. For those people who are telling you that, it's just gibberish. Don't listen to them. I work in a company that, and as Chandrika said, right, I've been working in this industry for quite a while to tell you. And as an instructor, I always keep in track of, how the job market is. Because at the end of the day, my goal and mine and Junai's goal at the end of the day is to ensure you guys that you are able to land a job. The reason we believe in our process is because of that, right? We know that there are enough jobs out there, and we are here, literally to walk you through how you do it from A to Z and land a job successfully, right? Yeah, that's. I just wanted to quickly show that.
Yeah, exactly. And also we also do in a certain way that you guys don't have to wait till the last minute that, oh, well, I'm going to just like finish this course and then I'm going to just like look for jobs and stuff. We have a certain way, like whoever interested to just like talk to us in person, you guys can just message us on Slack, actually on Facebook, on our community MZ Tech, on our page. We can just hop in a Zoom call and we can talk about that more. Also, things that I also want to add, there's a lot of like people I saw, they completed like bachelor's and stuff like that. Still, they're looking for jobs. And if you guys go on LinkedIn and if you start, if you have like start networking with other people, you guys gonna see this, that most people, they cannot land a job. It's only because they don't have hands-on experience. And not all of them can just like have a degree or like a certification and then just go land a job. And the employers, they are not hiring those people because they want someone who has hands-on experience. And that's why I keep repeating this. Like what we do here is just like we give people hands-on experience, actual work environment. We just bring it over here so you guys can just don't feel uncomfortable when you guys just giving your interviews and stuff like that. So you guys gonna feel really confident. And with this mock interviews and stuff like that, it's just gonna feel like you're giving an actual interview with us. So yeah, this is the time. This is the time, guys. You guys gotta start right now, because there's so many jobs out there. Basically, there's not a lot of people out there doing QA, and that's why all these jobs, they're just like going somewhere else. Think about it. Do your research. And there's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, you might feel nervous, and that's all of us when we first started in this industry. We first feel like, well, uncomfortable, nervous. Can we do this? Can we do this? Yes, you can. I can personally guarantee you, yes, you can do this. There's nothing to worry about. There's nothing you need to be scared of. Yes, there can be some times like when you can just feel overwhelmed, and that's okay. That's okay. That's totally fine. That's a part of life. That's a part of like work environment and stuff like that. But QA is the most easiest way to make $100,000 a year just starting. After 2-3 years, guys, if you have any relatives or any friends, you guys can ask them. You have 2-3 years of experience. Trust me, that salary is gonna jump really quite a good amount. I mean, I know personally quite a few people. They're working as a QA. After 5-6 years, they're doing like making like 150, 160,000 just like that. You don't have to believe us. You can literally can do your own research. And why you just don't want to grab those money that's sitting out there for you? All you guys got to do is just learn these materials. We MZ Tech is gonna give you 100% support from day one to the last day of your course, and we make sure you land a job. I don't think like there's any other industry you can just literally can do any sort of course and just like make 100 grand. Not that I know, like, but this is one of the easiest way you guys can just make a lot of money, especially this COVID season right now. A lot of people just staying home. I have seen personally that a lot of people are just doing this full stack course, doing QA course. It's only because in last 1 year, this IT industry really just like went up and they're hiring a lot of people. And you guys are gonna see like almost, I would say like 40%, like more, I would say this coming next February. I was reading the article the other day and they're gonna hire a lot of people. You can go on LinkedIn. If you guys have any LinkedIn, go on this job website, showed like monster.com or indeed.com. You're gonna see there's a lot of jobs out there. And go, if you have guys have LinkedIn, you guys gonna see there's like every day they're posting these jobs, but there's not enough people. So guys, this is the time, and we are here to answer any of your question, anything you need help with. Just talk to us, talk to Minhas, message him, send a message on like our MZ Tech page. We're gonna answer your question, and we're gonna make sure you just get the like 100% one-on-one support from us.
Exactly. Just to reiterate, what Jonai was saying, and the reason we actually had Chandrika uh, in here is to let you know or just show you that anyone could do it, right? And what she was saying, that she had other types of experience from an architect point of view, but when it comes to actually writing, codes for automation, she did not, right? And she is just exceeding quite a while, obviously quite a lot from how she started. We are wrapping up this batch right now, right? So, and now it's at a point where she's just wrapping up, and after she learns this part, we'll actually make her do real life projects and go through the things that we talked about. And we could obviously bring her back, when she lands a job, to let you guys know if we do have future workshops, just to show you that anyone who started it with us, completed it, right? And there are obviously a lot of students who graduated from us before, and it could always, we have a lot of testimonials if you need to ensure that. But instead of just giving you a bunch of testimonials and stuff in Facebook pages and stuff, we don't really do that. We bring in actually live people, because obviously people could question they're fabricated or whatever not, right? So we actually bring you people like that who are currently in the badge, and will in future for sure we'll bring in people that actually landed a job, to show you that, yeah, if someone who had literally no experience at all could get a job, why not you, right? If you're in that situation, you could do it. As Junaid said, there's not another industry where you could just learn some sort of training for 6 to 8 months and land a high paying job. And this is not labor extensive at all, right? This is literally something that you do in a computer, right? And then again, we'll show you how easy it is in a bit, in a demo, just to go over what I've done. You will do that in a day-to-day life, right? And if that's something that intrigues you, if you find that fascinating, this is the job for you, right? Yeah, that's all I had. Any other questions tonight?
One other question is like the full stack, like people who just like finish the full stack development, can they just also work as a QA, or is it something that they have to learn some other extra tools if they're a full stack developer?
I'll actually tell you a funny story. So in my company, right, that, and I work for obviously IBM, and some of you guys know that, we actually had quite a few people that we hired. They were full stack engineers to fill in our QA automation course, right? I mean, not automation course, automation jobs. So, and there are a lot of boot camps that people usually graduate from. They will hear, again, it really depends on what, where you graduated from, right? If you're s- most of them, right, if they're not able to land in a full stack environment, they are actually been told to, hey, focus on our QA side, right? And again, really depends on skills, rather. But anyone, and I've also even heard from people who actually graduated with a full stack, training from other boot camps, whatnot. They landed a job as a full stack engineer, but they were told to do QA stuff. So they, uh, came to us to learn QA, and obviously, we're going to talk about that. If there's a company that wants us to train them to build that up, we have this offer as well, training as well. But we were actually told to train group of people to bring them up from a QA because they didn't want to look elsewhere, right? They know these people that's been working there, and that's what it is. So anyone, it's not someone who has coding experience. If someone from a QA side could do it, someone who's doing manual could get into automation. Someone who actually has been working on development, let's say they don't want to do extensive coding where they have to build stuff, they want to have a laid off position. This is like that, right? And as Junaid said rightfully, pay grade is quite high, right? And again, this is just starting salary we're talking about. If you have few more years of experience, your salary will accelerate quite a lot, right? And again, this is just a benchmark, or this is just a gateway for you to get into the IT industry. You could get into anything beyond that, right? You could, again, I said, you could become a QA manager, if you want. You could become a QA lead. Again, opportunity is endless. Just start. Anyone could start. Someone who has a coding experience, someone who doesn't have it, someone who has a degree, someone who doesn't have it. It's really, out there. And as Junaid said a little earlier, the money is out there. Just come and grab it, right? And that's all, we're trying to do here for you guys, right? To bring out this community, to bring it to people who might not be aware of, to expose it more, because there are millions and millions of people who are actually doing it, right? And it just give you just shows you, how the job market is just from one website, right? There are obviously hundreds of websites out there, uh, and if you just accumulate those, you will actually could tell how many jobs are out there for you to grab, right? You just need one of those. So
There's a lot of also me personally, I've seen like a lot of people, the first thing they just want to do either UX UI or they want to be a web developer. I just wanted to ask you this question, like personally, that why do you think a lot of people, I would say most of people, they are not aware of this QA, the automation engineering, and why is that? Like, because what I see on social media, on YouTube, like on Facebook, there's so many institutions out there. They are only offering this web development or UX UI or data science, but no one just focus on this like QA side. Why is that?
very important question. So number one is because based on if you were to go to any sort of computer science uh, uh, colleges, or if you're doing your bachelor's in computer science, they will not teach you how to do automation, right? They will teach you some basics. Again, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't even do. I wouldn't be. I wouldn't even go to college, to be honest and brutally honest. No disrespect to the colleges that I went to, but what they don't teach you in college is, as you said, John, a little earlier, hands-on experience, right? They teach you the basic. There are a lot of curriculums out there that are just no one uses these days, right? When I was going to college, I was being told to use C++, and barely people uses that, right? It's like ancient history. Uh, uh, even from a software development point of view, the things they teach you, and what again, we briefly went over the tech stack that we use, even from a full stack engineering. Colleges don't show those, right? They don't teach you those. They don't teach you how to use React. They don't teach you how to build a full-fledged application, right? They don't teach you how to automate something. They don't teach you how to write scripts on that. They just teach you basic fundamentals and just leaves you out there, and you literally spend 4 years on things that you might not be helpful to you at all, right? So if I had to do it again, imagine I didn't do college, and I started working, did one of this boot camp. Instead of wasting 4 or 5 years of college, I could have had 4 or 5 years of extra experience, and make, let's say, 100 grand extra for each year, right? I mean, just think of that. For those of you, who's planning on doing that, I'm not discouraging at all to have a degree. I know people, even we have students with us who actually does full-time courses who are doing that and learning with us, right? The reason that is, and if you were to look at our schedules, right, even from this course or our previous training, our trainings are designed like that, right, to ensure that people who actually has a job could attend the class, right? People over the weekend, right? Even the classes, we ensure that weekend is obviously a fun day for everyone. People wants to go out and all of that, right? So our classes are actually in the morning to get that out of the way. Then you could actually enjoy the rest of that, right? So when you join with us, we obviously know you're a human. You want to enjoy your life. We keep all of that into account, even when it comes to at that level of selecting our schedule, right? To ensure that it really works out for everyone. So we do that.
Yeah. Also, I just want to add this for the students who are watching this. Uh, Basically, there's like students with us. They're from like a different backgrounds. Some of them you can even imagine they were like a theater artist, or they are like a restaurant, like a waiter, waitress, and stuff like that. Like from different backgrounds, and they are coming to do this QA. They are coming to do this full stack, and after a couple of months, yes, a lot of people, I mean, out there, they might say like negative stuff. Ignore them. I would say just ignore them. Do not take any negativity or any sort of things they say, like, oh, this is some sort of like, not good, or blah blah blah. They might say a lot of negative things, but please guys, before listening to them, just do your research. Go on LinkedIn, go on different social media and talk to these people, because there's so many people out there. They're gonna tell you this their story. And if you just go, if you want to go talk to like who actually working right now after they graduate from like boot camp or MZ at our institution, MZ Tech, go talk to them, and you will find out what they used to do and how much they're making, and what they're doing right now. So this is the thing, like a lot of people out there, they will say, oh, they will laugh at you, or they will say negative things about this, but do not listen to them, guys, because at the end of the day, it's your decision. It's you who gonna just like have this job and make this money, and then they will just like sit there and they're gonna watch you and be like, oh, okay, all right, I was wrong. And trust me, it happened to me too. So one of like when I was actually doing my course, basically one of our instructor told me, like, this is like a triangle. Like on top, there's like your success. The bottom two part is like failure and how much time you want to spend. So if you want to be on success on top, you guys always gotta just keep just working on it, or else like you're gonna just like go down, and you guys gonna just fail. And no matter what, you even if at the end of the day you try, you can't just like move all the way on top because you were just listening to those people. I would say don't listen to them. Don't take any negativity and stuff like that, because we've been working in this industry quite a while. He's like working like in this industry for decades. So trust me, like uh, it's something you gotta just take this opportunity. Also, another thing I'm gonna add to this, uh, you don't have to worry about jobs, because you know why? Because I'm not gonna say this right now. We usually say this to our students. So whenever you start as a student, then we'll let you guys know. Um, Basically, there's a company or there's someone like they will come and hire them, and they get paid. Like those employers actually basically get paid in order to hire the students. And we talk about this with our students. But trust me, there's this company, and there's like I would say like a cider where they come and they will hire the grads. And a lot of people say, oh, bootcamp grads, they don't get hired. No, that's not true. That's not true. Our students, like, they know. And yeah, there's a process, there's a thing like where they come and they just hire the bootcamp grads. The only reason they hire the bootcamp grads right now, it's only because they have hands-on experience, and that is what the company needs. The company needs someone who has hands-on experience. They don't want to hire someone who doesn't have any experience and they will pay you to teach you. Basically, they're losing their time and money. So that's what they don't want to do. And that's why right now a lot of companies, they are hiring the bootcamp grads. And yeah, we teach our students and we show our students what that process is, where the employers is going to come and they're going to just like hire our students.
Yeah, that's a great point, and again, we'll talk about that, once you join our course and stuff. One other thing in terms of negativity, just I want to touch based on, I personally encountered this. So there was this page that I shared my post and something I was telling Junaid. There was this person who was just going back and forth with me. It was like, oh, you guys say it's gonna take 6 months, but I know people who got fired right away, and I'll talk about that in a bit. Why that is. But this person was just going back and forth, and when I asked, him or her, they were like, "Oh, I work in the industry." Then I'm like, "How did you learn this?" Again, this person was like, "Oh, I went through the same training process that you're talking about." So it's just a lot of hypocrites out there uh, that will tell you, "Hey, this doesn't work," blah blah blah. At the same time, they're actually working in the field, doing the same thing that we're planning to teach.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you an example of negativity where, as Junai said, right, ask people who are actually working in the industry. Don't listen to people like that who tells you, oh, they can't do this, you can't do that, just because something. And again, she didn't even go through any sort of bad experience. It's just this person went over the same thing that we were talking about with a different institute, right? And obviously I got the details of that. And in terms of just being fired and stuff, just to talk about that a little, there are some institutes, if you do your research, you will know, uh, the instructors themselves takes interview for them, and
Yeah.
these are the students who actually get fired, like,
Gets
because they
fired,
get
yeah.
caught, right? They don't, as you will see, right? You heard Chandrika saying she's struggling, but she's saying we're always out there. It's because we don't leave that room for gap, right? We tell our students from the get-go that we will not be taking interview. We'll teach you in a way that you could pass your own interview, because at the end of the day, you will be doing the job, and once you're blacklisted like that, it's really hard for you to land another job, right? So that's something that distinguishes us as well. We'll show you where the banana is. We're not going to just feed it to you, right? It really doesn't work that way. You will learn and you'll be equipped with the knowledge you need to pass your own interview. And people who are telling you it's not easy, it's not worth it, it's not doable, just filter them out, right? Listen to it 1 year, get it out of the other year, because they're doing that by themselves and they don't want you to, get that piece of cake that we're talking about from the cash, right? Or from an amount. Just
Yeah.
forget all of that. Join our course, and it's something that we're planning to talk about. If you want to join our first class, feel free to join and see how it is. If you ever want to join one of our current class going on just to see our structure, we always offer that. You don't have to jump, right away. See how it is, and if you're still not satisfied, then it's obviously up to you. But anyone who actually visited one of our classes and the way it is structured, they immediately join the class, right? And again, we have a lot of testimonials, and we will bring in a lot of people to show you why people are doing this. So many people are out there that are doing it, right? Just hang in there, and just continue learning. Do your research. If you have any questions, we're always here.
Yep. Because we just covered like most of the stuff today. There's a lot of like valuable information you guys got today. And if there's anything else, also guys, I'm gonna repeat this again. I see it a lot of like in social medias. They say like you can't do this. It's really hard and stuff like that. Please don't listen to them. Go online, or they might say go online, learn it from online. Hey, for those guys who say this, I would just say this: just don't like. There's not everyone can do like learning from online and stuff, like watching a video and stuff like that, because there's so many tools out there that you guys need, that you guys cannot learn just like watching just a few videos and stuff like that. Because like, what do you want to do? Do you want to learn from someone who is already working in the industry for a decade, or do you want to just like watch a video and stuff like that without like no tools and stuff like that? Yeah, you might like, there's like few people that can do it, but that's not for everyone. So do not discourage other people, because that really scares them to like becoming successful in this industry, because there's a lot of talented people out there who wants to do it, and people are just literally holding them back. So guys, don't do that, and please just help each other, help your community, help other people, try to just like work as a team, because at the end of the day, like not only other person is gonna just be benefited, you guys also can be benefited just working as a team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just take out all the negativity, to be honest. And for those who are encouraging it, I don't know, man.
I
Just
know,
cut them
like I
off.
mean, that's like what we always like see this in social media and stuff like that.
Yeah,
We're also
yeah, yeah.
struggling with like that. Yeah, there's a lot of competition out there. That's totally fine. But still, people who are interested in doing this, talk to us, come and talk to us, and we'll show you what do you guys need. And trust me, like at the end of the day, what matters is like you get a secure job, and at the end of the day, you're making big chunk of money, and that's all it matters. And that's what MZ Tech believes in, and that's what our students actually get at the end of this course. So yeah. And also, I just want to add, like, we're gonna just come on next live on this Saturday. So please, guys, whoever interested in joining our live, we'll just come on live and we'll just give you guys a link if anyone interested in joining. And please just share this link with your family and friends. Whoever interested in doing this course, you guys can come and just join us for like a free 1-day course. See how we guys do, how we teach our students, and what tools and structure looks like. You guys are most welcome to join our course. One free class 1 day. So come and talk to us. We guys are on Facebook page, MZ Tech. Also, if you guys need to just like send us any messages or anything, you guys can contact us. We also have like a WhatsApp group for our software, full stack software developer engineer group, as well as for our QA software engineer group as well. So yeah, if you want to add anything,
I know that's about it. And you know what I showed you a little earlier. Just to go over that. Literally, you will learn how to write these. Right, this might seem jargons, but literally, this is few line of codes, and we'll show you how reusable it is. Right. If you were to look at the test, it's quite simple, right? You're just instructing the computer. And I mean, if that doesn't fascinate you, I don't know what will. If you're telling the computer what to do and you just sit there and
really
enjoy,
fun stuff to do. Actually, it's really fun.
yeah,
Like students, when you actually guys gonna start doing this, it's really fun things to do. I mean, you
yeah,
guys gonna feel like sitting in front of the computer all day and doing this.
yep, yep,
So that's really
absolutely.
fun.
As you start doing it, and you know, automation, it really makes your life quite easy, right? There are so many different types or you know ways it helps, right? And I'll give you actually one more scenario. One of our developer actually were told in his previous job to take screenshots, right? And this again, keep in mind, this guy was a full stack developer, right? He landed a job where he was told to take screenshots from a different page manually every single day. And this guy actually learned automations with us, and I've showed him, hey, this is what you do. Literally, that literally changed his life, right? You know, when you learn how to do stuff in Selenium, just not from a testing point of view, there are a lot of applications out there that you could do, right? There are a lot of processes you could actually make life easier. If you have to, let's say submit an application every single day, you could do so using automation. If you want to scrape a website to get a bunch of information, curated in a single document, you could do that. So application from an automation point of view, excluding the amount, it's just a lot of fun out there, right? You could actually, the whole point of automation is to make your life easier, right? To make the computer do what you typically don't want to do, right? Anything that you could automate that you don't feel like doing manually, you could just do that, right? Again, that's the other side aspect of it. In terms of coding, we'll start bringing in a lot of YouTube videos near future where we will actually show you hands-on how do you actually write these codes, what all of this means. But again, that's it, right? These are just literally, few lines, right, that I've written, and most of these are obviously, these are inputs that we'll talk about. It really does, and it doesn't, script like this literally takes you 30 minutes, and after you get it done, you just run it, right, instead of doing something manually. Again, just to touch base on that, manual testing is going away. So for people who tells you, do you need coding for QA engineering? uh, yes, you do, because manual testings are literally not there anymore, right? And if you were to chase a manual testing position, I'll tell you the salary. It's about 30 to 40K. That's not what we're trying to chase for. You don't want to learn something for 6 months and then make 30 to 40K, right? Obviously, that's a lot of money, but instead of comparing from 30 to 40 to 100K, that's a huge difference, right? Why not do that? Just and learning coding again will help you in the long run, as I said, this is the future, where anyone who has any sort of knowledge on IT industry will tell you the same, right? Get into coding now, learn the basics, things you could do with it. It's just gonna amaze you. Yeah, and that's about it from what I had. I really like to thank everyone for joining us today. Any sort of questions you have, again, for those of you who's going to rewatch this, uh, either message us, put your questions over the comments. We'll get back to you. You have our phone number and our email, or if you want to get in Zoom call one-to-one, just reach out to either Junaid or me, and we'll set that up for you. All right, that's all I had, Junaid.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope to see you on Saturday live. So until then, stay safe and have a good night.
Take care, guys.